Peace, infinite waters, diving deep once again. Beautiful deep divers, we are out here in the heart of nature, baby. Birds everywhere. But are you practicing self-care today, or are you letting yourself go? 10 uncomfortable signs you're actually practicing self-care without even knowing it. Let's just, breathing in that good ass prana, baby. Now, self-care has helped me become my greatest version. I always get tons of messages from people who are like, Ralph, what's the best way to practice self-care? How does one know one is really practicing self-care without being selfish? Okay? We have a whole lot to talk about. Deep divers, do you sometimes have a feeling you're practicing self-care, but it's getting a little bit uncomfortable? And we ain't even had breakfast yet. Can I get a hello? So let me share with you what's helped me along my journey, the uncomfortable signs I'm actually practicing self-care. Number 1, I am making the right choices for my long-term wellness. That's right, I'm letting go of shabby-ass relationships. I'm quitting that terrible job. I'm getting my butt out of that argument. Bye, I'll leave you lot to it, okay? You are actually practicing self-care. It can be sometimes very uncomfortable when you are making the right choices for your long-term wellness, because many years ago when I was working, grinding in the matrix day in, day out, I'm like, I have to leave. But wait a minute, I need to pay my rent. And that's the predicament many of us find ourselves in. But it will be uncomfortable, but if you are actually letting go of whatever no longer serves you to make space for what inspires you, you are practicing self-care. Congratulations. Yikes. Slow motion this side. You see, many of us in this society, we're only thinking short term. Self-care is all about long-term. Self-care is a lifestyle. Self-care is not about escaping from something like I used to do when I used to work day in, day out, 12 hours a day, come home, it's already dark, then watch a movie, no vegan ice cream then, right? And then same thing. Self-care is when you are creating a lifestyle, right? And you're making the right choices for your long-term wellness. When you're like, I'm happy being here because this is good for my health. If you can say that, you are practicing self-care. What's the second uncomfortable sign you're practicing self-care? You are creating, that's right, and building, that's right, a life, yes, you don't, yes, need to escape from. Thank goodness, okay? Yes, if you're doing that, you're practicing self-care. Now, sometimes it's uncomfortable because to really practice self-care, you have to make these big, audacious, bold decisions. And sometimes you might be like, oh my gosh, I'm letting people down, okay? What really helped me along my journey, practice self-care, was to create and build a life I didn't need to escape from. Now it's uncomfortable because when you are designing your life, there are many, many adjustments that need to be made. You're looking a bit shaky, baby. But sometimes you need to slow down to speed up. Slow motion this side. Sometimes you need to change your whole vision to really start enjoying the fruits of your labor. So right now, I absolutely love my life. That's an understatement. I love my life. I'm practicing self-care because I'm creating and building a life every single day I don't need to escape from. The secret is to create a life you don't need a vacation from. Yikes! Slow motion this side. If you're doing that, you're practicing self-care. What's the third Uncomfortable sign you're actually practicing self-care. No, 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 no. You have the power right now to say a big fat no, and it's sometimes uncomfortable because sometimes you're saying no to your mom, your dad, your best friend, even random strangers you met today. You're turning down party invitations. Everybody is pressurizing you. Go to this party, come to this party, and you're like, no. And sometimes, let's be honest, it's uncomfortable, you feel bad, you don't really want to spoil the party, you don't want to let people down, but you're like, no. Sometimes you even smile when you say it, no. You are practicing self-care. Congratulations. You see, life is not about pleasing everybody. Life is about staying true to your authenticity. And I'm a Pisces, so it was hard for me to say no. People would be like, Ralph, do you want to go out today? You want to go out to the nightclub? And I'm like, yes. I was saying yes to them, but it was actually a no to myself. Don't say a yes to them when it's actually a no to yourself. You see, happiness comes when your words and actions are in alignment. When you really mean what you say, one of the 4 agreements, be impeccable with your word. So if you have the power to speak, even if your voice shakes, you are practicing the art of self-care. Congratulations. What is the 4th sign? Uncomfortable sign, you're actually practicing self-care. It's a gorgeous day out here. You, yes, they tried to trigger you. They wanted to argue with you this morning, right? This afternoon, right? This evening. People want to bring you negative energy. And for the first time, you're very calm. And it's uncomfortable at first because you're still human. Sometimes you still want to argue with them. But you know, you don't want to put more fuel on the fire. You don't want to feed that negative energy. And sometimes you really got to hold yourself back. Hold me back, hold me back. It's uncomfortable, right? But for the first time, you're learning how to respond instead of react. You see, how you respond to a situation literally has the power to change the entire situation itself. Slow motion this side. No more lashing out. No quick reactions. Because you're a lot calmer now, you are a lot more in control of your emotions, and that's why you're practicing self-care. That's what self-care means. You see, you can't control what people do to you, but you can control how you respond to them. How I love to respond to people who sometimes get on my nerves is just do this. Woo! Breathing in that good-ass prana, baby. Where did those people go? They don't exist anymore because I'm an alchemist. I changed that negative outer experience into an inner harmonious experience. Okay? What's the 5th uncomfortable sign you're actually practicing self-care? 7-day vegan challenge. I had a delicious smoothie yesterday, by the way, a maca powder smoothie with bananas, strawberries. I asked for some extra strawberries, okay. Flax seeds was in there, blueberries. It was so delicious. That's why it's gone. Shout out to everybody doing the 7-day vegan challenge who feels fantastic. You are practicing self-care. Well, actually, Ralph, no. E3 Live tastes horrible. I agree. Like, I tasted E3 Live, a complete source of protein, that blue-green algae, and I was like, oh, it tastes so terrible. But it's good for me. You see, that's uncomfortable. That's an uncomfortable sign you're actually practicing self-care, because you know it doesn't taste the best, but you know the benefits are far too great to ignore. So let me drink this. is going to help me out, right? If you are eating foods, even though you don't like the taste, but you know these foods are packed full of antioxidants, live enzymes, and in the long run, you are going to be maintaining your body vehicle. Congratulations, you are practicing the art of self-care. What's the sixth uncomfortable sign you're actually practicing self-care? Now, you're focusing on what actually matters and dropping the rest. So I was in Venice one day, Venice Beach one day, and I'm talking to a good friend, and he's like, success is when you attribute value to things that matter. It's not about how much money you have, how big your house is, how fancy your car is. It's about when you attribute value to things that actually matter to you. And that's the art of practicing self-care. So when you are always focusing on what really matters, you're practicing self-care, okay? And when you are dropping the rest, you're practicing self-care. Now, sometimes it can be uncomfortable because, let's face it, a lot of us, we're all over the place, okay? We're juggling so many different balls, okay? We're multitasking. We're trying to get everything done at once. And sometimes it's uncomfortable because the universe is telling us to do one thing at a time. A lot of us, we have a lot of priorities. We don't have a priority. To become your greatest version, you need a priority. You need to focus in on one thing at a time, and then it will grow exponentially. That's what's helped me along my journey, and that's why I'm practicing self-care. What's the seventh? Baby. Uncomfortable sign you're practicing self-care. You are a hero. You are the hero. You are no longer the victim. Okay? You are practicing self-care. You don't want this label of being a victim. And sometimes it is uncomfortable because sometimes, let's be honest, we all feel like victims. You get a parking ticket and you're like, that car is not mine. Sometimes we feel like victims. Sometimes we feel this matrix has really screwed us over, and it has. But we all have a choice to be a victim or a hero. If you are choosing to be a hero of your life, you are practicing self-care. It's uncomfortable because now you actually, sorry about that. You have to cancel your pity party. You've got to cancel your pity party, right? Nobody's going to be crying with you with a bunch of tissues because you are a hero, and whatever doesn't kill you will only make you stronger, says the cat down the road, okay? What's the eighth uncomfortable sign you're actually practicing self-care? You aren't about creating a life that only looks good on social media, on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook, all of these sites, okay? You're also about creating a life that actually feels good. Yikes! Slow motion this side. You see, it's so easy to get on social media, take a selfie, and think you've made it. And that tricks a lot of people into a false sense of actually achieving something, because we go back and we don't feel good. You see, I'm so focused on creating every single day, I don't have time to pose so much because I'm actually living this lifestyle. I'm not only about creating a life that looks good, I'm creating one that actually feels good. To inspire millions of people like I do, it feels good and it looks good too. Right? That's what it's about. It's uncomfortable because sometimes you gotta drop that ego and get real with yourself. You see, you can fool other people on social media and pretend to live a certain lifestyle, but you can't fool yourself, because at the end of the day, you know if you're really bringing in the results or not. You know if you're really doing what your true heart desires or not, okay? So once you are not only about creating a life that looks good, you're also about creating a life that feels good, you are practicing self-care. Congratulations. What is the ninth uncomfortable sign You're actually practicing self-care. You are brutally honest, even if people don't like it. Okay, Tupac said, being honest, the more honest you are, the more real you are, the less friends you have, right? That's a great quote. But you don't care. You're just honest, and you don't care if you lose friends or not, because you're like, the truth has to be told. My truth has to be told. Nobody is going to silence me. I don't care what people think. Okay, where did all my friends go? It doesn't matter, because at least I'm being honest. You are practicing self-care. It's uncomfortable sometimes because, yes, the more real you are, you might lose a few friends, but guess what? They weren't your friends in the first place. You see, your true friends will love the real you. Not the facade, not the fake you, the real you, okay? So if you are practicing being honest, even though you know people might raise their eyebrows and not like what you have to say, you are practicing self-care. Congratulations, okay? And what's the 10th uncomfortable sign? You are practicing self-care. Now, you know for the first time, self-care is a way of life. Self-care is a lifestyle. It's not something you have to run away from. It's something that you experience every single second. Slow motion this side. You are becoming who you came here to be. You realize that being in nature like I am, I'm not in nature because I'm trying to escape from life. I'm in nature to actually enjoy life. I've created a life I don't need to escape from. You are practicing the art of self-care. It's uncomfortable at times because to really make self-care a way of life can take time. It can be uncomfortable because you're going to have to let go of the old world, the program matrix, and embrace the new earth where there are infinite possibilities. And now self-care is a way of life for you. And then you'll just say, feels so good to be alive, baby. Can I get a hello? There. Beautiful deep divers, we are out here in the heart of nature, just woo, breathing in that good ass prana, baby. Have a beautiful day, deep divers. Infinite waters, diving deep once again. Stay well, stay healthy. Peace. You. Whenever you're in nature, you are practicing self-care. Just look at this place.